koje smo za vas specijalno organizovali. Naime, želimo da vam pokažemo kako u Srbiji na nivou jedne opštine radimo po pitanju prevencije zavisnosti naših učenika.
So welcome, dear guests. Today we prepared one lecture for you. We are going to see how we as a school, as a municipality, deal with all kinds of addictions and problems that young people face today.
Da, možeš samo da nas predstaviš. I očito vas.
Samo to što ste rekli, ako možete samo da posle našeg izlaganja, da bismo želeli da čujemo i njihovo iskustvo. Kako to funkcioniše tamo, nama bi to bilo veoma značajno.
Okay, after the lecture, we would like to hear from you your feedbacks about how you deal in your countries with these kind of problems. So, if you can later tell us your opinions and your feedbacks about things in your countries.
We don't speak English.
Okay, you can say it in Serbian. I know you're fluent. Okay, this is our psychologist, Jela Stanic.
Hello, Jela.
And she is responsible very much for the young brains, as well as Ana Ciljanic. She's our pedagogist, so they are going to be here also and maybe share their opinions.
It would be nice.
Okay. Ako to bi bilo jako dobro, da onda i ovo što ću ja reći, ako možete, ja ću u dva dela samo da predstavim savjetovaštvo.
Dobro.
Dobar dan još jednom. Veoma nam je drago da imamo tu čast da budemo sa vama i da nadam se na određen način podelimo neke iskustva iz okruženja.
Okay. Again, we are very pleased to have you here today, and this is a chance to share all our experience in Serbia and experience in your countries.
U ovim teškim vremenima je veoma važno da odnos koji mi imamo, jedan prijateljski i partnerski odnos o kome će pričati naši stručnjaci, a ja ću nešto reći, isto toliko je važno da budemo povezani međusobno, znači sa zemljama iz okruženja i da razmenimo iskustva u najboljem interesu naše dece u ovim teškim vremenima.
In these hard times, it's very important to have strong connections among institutions here in Serbia, but also it's very important to have strong connections with institutions, colleagues, and schools with other countries. So that's the main, I think, idea, to share the opinions, ideas, and to find the best solutions for young people.
Samo bih htjela da kažem da naš tim, savjetovalište, ima jako veliko poštovanje i razumevanje za sve prosvetne radnike koji su već duži period u veoma teškoj situaciji.
Their consulting house
she's also our manager. She will present here the way our youth counseling center works. Our team of experts has psychologists, social workers, occupational therapists, and speech therapists.
To je to. Ja sam zaboravim šta ću dalje sa matom, pa ne možeš prevaš. Njamo ništa. Spokojno. Pa ruski. A Bugar, to mi smo tu Serbija, Bulgarija. Turizam, Grčka, isto. Da, ajde, prebacim da. Ono što bih ja želela da kažem da naš rad i uspeh, veliki uspeh, ja sam zaista ponosna koliko je naše savjetovalište uspešno, zasniva se na međusobnom poverenju te intersektorske saradnje. I na taj način edukujemo i nastavnike i roditelje da uspostave taj prijateljski i prosto jedan odnos poverenja. Dete je uvek na prvom mestu, znači i svi radimo u interesu deteta. Znači povezano sa prvi koji su njima bliski su roditelji i škola. Tu dete provodi najviše vremena. Znači taj odnos sa školom, radimo na tome da roditelji moraju da imaju poverenja u nastavnike, što je od presudnog značaja za jedno zdravo odrastanje. To međusobno poverenje i taj partnerski odnos. Naravno, veoma važan segment svega toga jeste psihološko-pedagoška služba koja aktivno prati sve situacije u školi. Koliko ti kratko ti reći, 2 rečenice.
Marina explained about this picture. We put the child in the middle of the picture because it's in the middle of our interests. The child spends much time in school and at home with their families. That's why it's very important for the relationship between school teacher and the parents to be good. And Marina's goal as an active lecturer, she gives lectures very frequently in schools to parents and to teachers. Her main goal is to make that cooperation good and with respect and trust.
Sve to je veoma važno, isključivo zbog rane detekcije. Znači, to je prva i osnovna stvar. Znači, nećete vi kao nastavnici lečiti dete, ali od vas zavisi kako i kojom brzinom će to dete da dobije pomoć. Znači, rana detekcija nekog problema zavisi od poverenja roditelj-nastavnik, što je osnovna i najbitnija stvar.
She's talking about early detection of troubles. You as teachers are not obliged to treat the child, but it's much better if you are familiar with all the things that happen to a child and to recognize the early signs of addiction, so you can share information in due time to parents and then to specialists in your country. We'll hear, I suppose, later how does it work in your country.
Can I try to help? Because she might say shorter sentences, so you can be able to translate, because all of this she forgets. I know.
I summarize it all.
Evo ovde mogu da vide, znači u suštini sam
This slide represents this intersector cooperation. It's cooperation between, in the center, we put the investment center, that's us. We base our work on benefit of a child. Sad, Natalija?
Pa da, znači to je prvi nivo, drugi nivo i treći nivo. Suština je da se problemi rešavaju, što veći broj problema da se rešava na tom prvom nivou.
The first level of our work is prevention. The goal is to prevent, so we...
U ovom prvom krugu. Da ne dođe da se spreči komunikacija, da ne dođe do policije, tužilaštva i do...
Stop escalating the problem, to prevent escalating the problem. First level is us working with children, cooperating both with school and parents, and then later we cooperate with police, prosecution, social services, and with psychiatrists.
Na tome se zasniva naše postojanje i naš rad, upravo da taj preventivni rad koji je pre svega najvažniji i taj multidisciplinarni pristup i intersektorska saradnja, znači rano prepoznavanje i rano rešavanje problema. Eto, to je ono što ja hoću, nema.
What she wants to say is prevention, early intervention, multidisciplinary approach, and intersector cooperation. which means that we share information with police, prosecution, psychiatrists, and social services. Because, as Marina said, we in Youth Counseling Center do not have psychiatrists, we do not have doctors, we only have psychologists, special education therapists, that's an occupational therapist, and speech therapists, and social workers.
Iz tog razloga sam veoma radosna što ste ovde i što nas slušate i to je najvažnija stvar da nastavnici budu dobro edukovani vezano za ove probleme.
The very important thing is that teachers are good, well educated about these problems, and that's why we're so happy that we can talk to you here today.
Eto, hvala vam, to je od mene toliko. Hvala. Sad, Sanja, se ću ja, znaš, ti priča odmah na englesku, bit će im lakše.
This is the address. We're happy to answer all your questions today, but in case you have questions additional, you can see here our email, so you can send it. We're open to cooperation of any kind. So, I would like to talk to you about how do we work with schools preventing addictions. Okay. To talk about addiction, we first need to try to understand what addiction is. So, I don't know if you've heard of Gabor Mate. He's a world-known psychiatrist. He works with people with addictions, and he has this theory where he made connection between addiction and attachment disorder. Attachment is that special bond that's created early in childhood between a child and a nurturer. It's a parent, one or other parent. So, when this attachment is not formed quite well, the child later in life can fall prey to an addiction. So, that's why we work with children in Youth Counseling Center. We work with children, we work with teachers, but also we work with parents. With parents, we work individually when they come to Youth Counseling Center, but we work with groups of parents in schools. Like this, we give lectures quite often. So, on these lectures, we try to make them see why do children start using drugs, alcohol, or anything, any kind of addiction. You can see here some lists of reasons. They're quite commonly known. This is one thing that I would like to emphasize. This is peer pressure here. Peer pressure means that in adulthood, adolescence, a child is much more prone to peer influence than to influence of parents. So, when the child is adolescent, it's much more important what the friends have to say than what parents have to say. So, parents need to be aware of that and very early in childhood make that bond with their child so that later the bond stays, let's say. If you're interested in peer pressure, there is quite a good book by Gordon Neufeld, Hold On to Your Children. It says all about these influence of parents versus influence of peers. So, this is how we explain why do children start. Next is how to recognize. Again, list of some signs. How can they recognize that something is going on with their child? But you can see here they're similar to size of adolescency. Any adolescent, no matter using drugs or not, can be exhibit changes in behavior. So, what we need to show them is those warning signs. What is early phase of addiction? That they're euphoric. Child means it has very much strength. And those signs of active phase of using drugs or being addicted. The child is agitated, it's tense, it's lonely. So, what should they do? First thing is get informed. That's what's our job to make them learn things about addiction. Not to make blames, to be empathetic, and so on. Confront the child with evidence and get support. The important thing here is to always contact child's teacher. So it's important for them to have trust in child's teacher and to give them the information necessary. And that's why that is Marina's work so important. Now we're back to parents' influence. In short, it says here that a parent is the child's first role model. The child mimics parents' behavior. So, if a parent is a heavy smoker, he cannot say to a child, stop smoking, you mustn't use cigarettes, or alcohol, or anything else. And of course, if they suspect the child is getting an addiction, they need to get professional help. This is how we work with children. With children, we work in groups and we work individually. Individually, of course, when they come to Youth Counseling Center, when a teacher usually marks a child as if it has some potential threat to fall prey to addiction, they send the child to Youth Counseling Center. You see here it says we help studying them. It's because the child with poor academic achievement has poor self-esteem. So it's very easy for that kind of child to fall prey to an addiction. So we, among other things, we help them studying. We teach children moral behavior and pro-social behavior. Moral means to teach them what is right and what is wrong, simply as that. We have different training programs, various workshop campaigns that we do to teach them negotiation skills, among other things. You'll see it here. We teach them how to protect themselves, promoting healthy lifestyles, teaching them how to say no. Not long ago, we had assertive behavior training. We taught them how to say no. What does it mean to be assertive? What does it mean to have assertive behavior that gives them the right to say no? How to say no without hurting feelings of another person, or how to stay true to themselves. And of course, if they get in trouble, to always ask for help. Help from their parents first, then from their teachers, and from professionals. We always leave our phone number. Children in Zemun, they all know what our address is and how to get to us. This is an example of one campaign that was done about promoting healthy lifestyles. It says that they should eat properly, they should do sports, but among other things, it says that they should get enough sleep. Not only children, but unfortunately parents do not know how much sleep does their child needs. So a couple of days ago, a woman came to me and asked me, how much sleep does her teenage boy needs? He goes to bed late using his cell phone. He falls asleep around 1 or 2 a.m. Then he can't get up early for school. Their day starts with an argument. He gets to school, he's cranky, he's sleepy, he's inattentive. Then he gets bad grades, then he gets home, they have another fight. So she sat there and said, we are miserable, we are one unhappy family. So we had to sit and make plans how to motivate a child to create healthy sleeping habits. This is from another workshop, motivating children, helping children find intrinsic motivation to achieve some changes, positive changes. This is about emotional literacy, teaching them to recognize their feelings, to know how to express their feelings, to recognize feelings of others. I don't know how it is in your countries, but here in Serbia we find that a large number of children lack empathy. Yes, they lack empathy. They do not know how the other person feels and don't care really. We have these special workshops where we make them step into another one's shoes and then see the situation from another angle. This is from our art therapy. Impulse and anger management. How to manage their impulse, how to control their anger. This is teaching social skills, problem solving. The child writes down problem in the middle of the paper. On the right side, it writes down what happened next, what happened after that. On the left side, it writes down what happened before. So, we teach the child to recognize cause and effect. And then the child needs to come up with 3 solutions for a problem. If a child is smaller, or there are children who cannot express their thoughts quite well, we make them write the problem, not write, draw a problem. It's quite good as well. Now, this is school influence. How do we cooperate with schools? I believe here the main thing is about making positive psychosocial climate. What does that mean? That means that every child needs to feel safe in school surroundings. We talked about families. There are lots of children that come from broken homes, that their families are not homes, so they do not have that support from their parents. They need to have support in schools. So that's why we work with individually with teachers, but also give lectures to teachers. We believe that there is very important for schools and parents together come up with a solution of how to organize child's after-school time, because school hours end, child goes home, the parents are at work, and what should they do? If they have some organized activities at schools, they go there, and that's one way of preventing, among other things, addiction. This is an example of campaign that was done for World Mental Health Day. It says, keep your mental health. This is made for National Day, Anti-Smoking National Day. This is about alcohol campaign. This is a suggestion for schools how to make week-long campaigns on any chosen subject. Now, this was a campaign made for to raise awareness for internet addiction. This is something quite new. A lot of parents do not recognize this, refuse to recognize this, because, let's face it, parents are also addicted to internet. So, as small children, we have this screen addiction where the child exhibits symptoms that are similar to autism. They don't speak, they lose eye contact, and when those all screens are cut off, the eye contact returns first. With older children, they are symptoms that are more similar to anxiousness or depression. And this one was campaign about drug addiction. I chose this one because of this triangle you see down. It says, this triangle is called addiction triangle. It says that addiction is made of special personality traits, substance that is available, or any form of addictive behavior that is just available, and the surroundings. Now, the surroundings are those to support addictive behavior or that just don't care. So our line of work is with that third thing, that surroundings, working to prevent addiction. That's it. Thank you for your attention. questions now. Our colleague. We have prepared something that says about drug addiction. We will give you now the material.
Thank you.
Now, we would like to know how does this all work in your countries? How do you...
Well, in Greece, literally you have a similar structure. We have special in our town. It is small, 5,000 people. And we have special from government, from the Ministry of Education. It is on the Ministry of Education, not health, not Ministry of Health. And they have one psychologist, they have one social worker, like your. And they visit schools, they accept people.
Are they educating?
The staff, the teachers, yes, they do. They make seminars, they make things like that. Of course, this is about drugs and addictions. It's another separate part that deals with kids with special problems, with autism, not learning easily at school. You know. This is another service.
Another service.
It's different.
Ministry of Education or
both from Ministry of Education, yes.
Mene zanima da li imate za zdravu populaciju?
for general population, for healthy children.
Yes, yes.
Counseling services.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. In Athens, of course, they have specialized for people with addictions. In Karpinisi, our town, we don't have problem. It's a very small town. Someone might drink, smoking, that kind of addictions.
How many schools does this service cover?
We are a very small, and we are losing.
That small town have one service.
Yes, we have 4 schools primary, 2 bigger for middle-aged and until 18 years old. And that's about 1,000 students, and 5,000-6,000 is the population of the town.
We have 32 elementary schools,
It is big.
4 high schools, and 2 student dorms. That's what we cover all.
Oh, a lot. It's very difficult. Well, I suppose in other cities in Greece it would be the same. We don't have money. After the crisis, this was underfunded. Now they're getting better and better.
This was founded before the crisis, right?
Oh, yes,
The
yes,
80s,
yes.
right?
They started now 20, 30 years before.
Like us.
Yeah.
Like us.
Vidite da li imaju komisiju u svakoj školi i da li je to sada komisiju za zaštitu deca od zlostavljanja i zanemarivanja?
Do you have some kind of special committee for protecting children from neglection and abuse?
For special committee, no. No, I don't know.
In school?
In school, no, for sure. In my town, no. Έχουμε εμείς επιτροπή.
Εμείς έχουμε την ΕΔΗ.
Okay, for neglecting. We have a group of psychologists and that visit schools. We don't have psychologists in the school. It's going around visiting schools and learns about
schools
Yes.
Only for that or for other things?
Da li
Oh, for others,
u kojim zemljama postoji ta
Whatever
komisija?
is needed.
whatever is needed.
Kako da ih pitam? Zanima me u koliko zemalja znači postoji znači ta komisija.
We're interested in this special committee that protects children from neglection and abuse. Is there a country that has something like that? We have it, yes.
Yes.
Where?
Here? Da. Greece.
Romania? Romania?
We have psychologist in the school. It means educational counselor, something like this. Yes, we have in our school.
We also have a health center, yes, and this center provides us all seminars and with the parents and teachers and students as well. So at school we have one psychologist, we have two social workers and one speech therapist. School? Yes, in our school.
It is a very big school. They have 900
so
students.
We are about 1,000 students, and what is more, all teachers, we attended special courses. The name of this course is Lion's Quest. It's about how to prevent teenagers to use drugs and other things. So we have special knowledge about it. We have special materials, books, and some exercise books for students with all materials, with their PowerPoint presentations. And what is more, we have some, when we write for example, I'm an English teacher and a literature teacher, Lithuanian teacher, we have to integrate this prevent into our subjects as well. So for example, if I teach the theme of family, also I have to speak about how we have to behave, which relationship should be between members of